Often thought of scripture as a grocery store, and each aisle is a book of the Bible. And the more you go shopping to the grocery store, the more you know. If your wife says to get whatever, you kind of know where the aisle is. You can kind of go that way. But it's not just the grocery store, because we're off, at least any of you who cook, and certainly those of us who eat, we're reading other things. We go to the store, we buy the food, but I'm looking up recipes. How can I use this particular item off the shelf? And how can I mix it with something else and come up with a good dish? The Bible's kind of that way. We're studying these individual items on the shelves all the way down the book of Genesis, and down the book of Matthew, that aisle, and we get familiar with it. And the best thing to do is to get familiar with those foods. But these things like dailies and things like taking classes and other commentaries, books, videos, even what we're doing today, begins to shed light on how it all fits together and how can it be good spiritual food for our lives.
Yeah, one of the blind spots I think that we find so often in particularly modern Protestant circles is almost this blindness to Christian history, as if the Bible fell out of heaven at the time of Jesus' resurrection and we picked it up the next day. There's 2,000 years of Christians reading and reflecting on this book, this collection of books. And we are not the first ones to read it. We're not the first ones to ask the questions. We're not the first ones to come up with good ideas. Certainly not the first ones to come up with terrible ideas. We benefit from reading the history of the church, the teaching of the church throughout history, across denominations, and then we benefit from the most current, as Scott said, the most current and reliable scholarship that we can get our hands on today. And commentaries are a mixed bag. I always tell my students there's two important things to know about the commentaries. The first is you can learn a lot about the Bible from the commentaries, and the second is you can learn a lot about the commentaries from the Bible.